Hey guys, I'm excited. I got the Breville Joule Turbo. I'm excited to try it out. I have yet to cook a turbo cook on it, so I wanted to bring you guys along for the ride on that. So what I have here is some chicken breasts. I want to walk you through what the experience is like using the turbo mode. You know, this is a really exciting sort of innovation for Breville Joule. You know, they've been spending years on trying to figure this out. So let's try it, see if it works, see how we like it. So again, we're gonna be doing some chicken breasts. Stay tuned to see how it turns out. So the first thing we're gonna do is take a look at the app. So let's cut to that and walk you through all the steps there. Okay, as I'm walking through the app and I'm preparing to cook in turbo mode for the first time, a few things that I'm noticing here. So first of all, step one is to prepare the water bath, and it limits you to 8 quarts at a maximum for these chicken breasts. So I'm assuming that probably applies to other proteins as well, or other food as well, but do note there is an 8-quart max. This actually happens to be an 8-quart container, so it works out fine there, but you're probably going to be prohibited from cooking larger scale, like more food for, let's call it, you know, 8. Certainly 8+ people are not going to be possible with the turbo mode, is what it appears. I'll play with it more to see if my opinion on that changes, but at least for this cook, that seems to be sort of the case here. The other thing I'd note is, you get down to step 2, it's just bagging. Step 3 is your preferred doneness. That's where you sort of click into setting your time and temp. And they've got 2 options there. One's a 162 degree option, one's a 165 degree option. They give you recommendations based on, I think, what amounts to whether you have skin or not. So 162 is what they prefer if you have skin. And I think a 165 is more if you're gonna do a quick sear afterwards. So for me, I don't have skin on mine, I'm gonna choose that 165. And then what it asks me to do is confirm that I want turbo. That is indeed what I want. How many pieces am I cooking? I'm gonna select the 2 pieces for the number of breasts I have here. And we're gonna move on to what it asks for next is to actually measure this. So I figured there was a reason they gave us a ruler with the purchase of the Joule Turbo. This is exactly why, and it instructs you to measure it at the thickest part. So I am gonna look here and measure here, and if I take the thickest part, I'm gonna do it on that first breast. It's, let's see here, 1 1/4 inches thick. I'm gonna try this one here. That is closer to, yeah, that's about 1 1/4 too. So in terms of inches, they're both 1 1/4 inches, so I will put that in here. It just upped the time to cook from 30 and change minutes to 40 and change minutes. And now it asks me to measure, actually weigh it. So I'm gonna go grab my weight scale. It says you can also look at the packaging to determine how much they weigh, but I have a scale, I'm gonna go get it. 1 pound and 11.3 ounces. So 1 pound and 11 ounces, and let's cook. All right, so I'm set here and it says start the turbo. So we're gonna start the turbo. If I didn't mention it, one other thing I noted when I was going through the app was it says to start with cool water. So if you're like me and you usually put in hot water just to get a jump start on the temp, it seems to indicate you shouldn't do that. It also says don't cover your container, so that must have to do with the calculations that they do. So again, it's probably gonna take longer to heat up the water than you might be otherwise used to. So do know that. And it says I can add my food now. So at least, even though it's gonna take longer to heat up the water, it does all the calculations with you putting in the chicken at this very moment. So that might very well be why they tell you not to put in, they're probably controlling for the variables. That's why they want cool water and they want you not to cover it. So those variables are gone from their calculations as they figure out how to do these things a little more quickly and speed up the cooking process here. So I'm gonna drop these in and I'll show you how everything works out at the end. So I'm looking at the app and it looks like we have 36 minutes. I just got the chicken breast in. Looks like we have 39 minutes is what it's reading here to get to a full cook, which is rather amazing. So that, if I'm reading this right, includes the time to preheat the water and do the actual cook. So that strikes me as amazing. I mean, with an 1100 watt machine, if I was going from cool water, just to temp would take, I don't know, 25 minutes plus, and then you cook after that. This tremendously cuts down the time of the cook. We'll see if I'm right. Oh, well, the number is now at 119. So apparently, don't get too excited at the beginning when you see the number. I will continue to monitor this and let you know what goes on, but right now the water itself is at 97.2 degrees, and the cook is estimated to take 1 hour and 19 minutes. It's supposed to be done, fully done in 1 hour and 19 minutes from now. So, still amazing. I'll let you know if that changes. But yeah, let's see what happens. Okay guys, so we're done here. So it took a total of just over 40 minutes, so pretty close to that. It started 38 and 36, I got real excited. Then it jumped to something like 120 something or another. It ended up taking roughly 40 minutes. So a very short period of time. Let's see how it actually turned out. So what I got, I heard a little beep on the sous vide machine. I was following the app, so some of the things I noticed were there was, like, in terms of time, there was some fluctuation. Like it went to that, we just said that 38, 36, 120 something, and then 119 jumped. And then it dropped from 119 down to, you know, 50 or 40 or something like that. So there was some jumping up and down in the times. It seemed to stabilize sort of within the first 10 minutes. I got a good sense of how long it would take and didn't really fluctuate after that. So that's one thing I noticed. I got a little beep about 30 seconds before the cook was done, so maybe that's a little bit of a warning to you to let you know if you can't audibly hear it, that it's going to be done very soon. And now as it's done, it kind of says there's a prime time mode that says it's going to be good for the next, I think when it ended it was an hour long, it's 55 minutes here. So there's that. I can tap to finish cooking if I wanted to right now. Otherwise I think it'll hold the temperature. Last thing I'll note is, given that it's using Delta T technology, so the way it's cooking your protein more quickly or your food more quickly is it's cooking above your target temperature. It appeared that the target temperature it was trying to hit and sort of maintain for a long period of time was 178 to get to that ultimate. I think we were at 165 if I'm not mistaken as the target temperature. So what I'll do is I'll take this out. I will do the internal, why don't I take the temperature of the chicken breast itself to see where we're at from that perspective, to see if it lines up with that 165 or 166 sort of number, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I've got my trusty ThermoPen one, and then let's see what the temperature is. So I'm going in the thick part here, and you can see I'm at about 155 on this guy, thickest part here, 160. No, 158 here. And 159 there. Okay, so the reading isn't exactly on top of the temperature that I would expect it to be, just given the setup within the app. That being said, I think it's perfectly safe to eat. I know the traditional thought is 165 but it was in the water for well over, for 40 plus minutes. And then to be pasteurized, we're well within those bounds. So like, I'm not concerned about eating it. It isn't the temperature of 165. Personally, I don't prefer my chicken that way anyway, so I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna put it up to tasting it to know whether I like it or not. I'm certainly not concerned about the fact that it's not at 165 or whatever that initial target temperature was. So my guess is that that is well within, like that's aiming high, and if you get anywhere near that, you're gonna be safe. I can certainly say the amount of time it was in the water and the temperature the water was, you have no worries about eating this chicken, so let that stick with you. All right, so let's cut into the chicken and see how it looks. I do want, if I can, to give you a shot of that internal temp. So it is at 156, and the thickest part there. 156 there, and if it helps, I'll do that again. So you can see it. Then let's get into it. I'm gonna go again to the thicker part of the chicken, and look, you can see perfectly cooked all the way through. Pretty happy with that. No pink at all. Looks very appetizing. Usually I do a sear here just to make things quick and not to belabor the fact. I wanted to give it a taste, let you know if there's anything different than I would think, but it's phenomenal. It's juicy. It's just perfect. So, excuse my full mouth. So in summation, look, we cooked almost 2 pounds of chicken in less than 45 minutes from the time we turned the sous vide cooker on, which I think is astonishingly fabulous. So what this does is the sous vide cooker becomes like an everyday option. We all know sous vide cooking is great. It does take some forethought. This really sort of breaks the barrier of how much forethought you need. You can get a meal done well within an hour, amazingly simply, and with amazing food. So this is a great breakthrough in sous vide technology is the way to put it. So yeah, the chicken is great. So very satisfied with my very first cook with the Breville Joule Turbo. Looking forward to doing many more, and thanks for watching. Bye.